All right, welcome back, YouTubers. Week 11 in the books. I had a pretty good week. I lost the Jets game, and even though they were in it for quite a bit, they kind of faded late. Miami took it over. So that was 3 losses in the multiple scheme for me, and 1 loss if you just count that game. And other than that, I won. So really it was 9 up, 3 down for me. In the multiple scheme, $1,000 bets. So that 9-3 took me from 9-7 to 18-10, 64% picking. That gave me a profit margin of plus 6,362 or $6,300 on a $20,000 bankroll. That's a 31% ROI. That exceeded the $5,000 goal for the year for me. 25%. So that was about that. The other winners were Baltimore. Baltimore kind of squeaked it out. Cincinnati did well. Pittsburgh kind of squeaked it out. And Tampa Bay took care of the 11 points that they needed with a 20-point win. So Baltimore was +2 wins. Cincinnati was 1. Pittsburgh was a 3x bet. And Tampa Bay was a 3x bet. Again, 9-3 the last week there. 4-1 in the games overall. So good week. So that kind of puts me out for the year. I'm not going to waste any more time sort of picking. I'll keep track of it a little bit, but all that money is going to Bitcoin or back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on a tear. It's been doing well for the last year, and it continues to do well. I'll compare a couple other investments out there. But, I'm not going to spend any more time here. Let's just look at the graph. So just as a recap of the season, by the way, the fixed, even though I went out in the week 7 with the fixed where it eclipsed 25%, if you kept playing it, the fixed eventually went 12-6 now, which is plus 98.16. That's a $2,000 betting scheme. So plus 98.16 is 12-6 record. So what's that? 66% or something like that. And, or 2 out of 3 wins, right? And that plus 98.16 will be a 49% ROI. I kind of goofed last week when I said plus 65.44. I said that was I don't know how I screwed that up, but that's really 32% ROI. But they went up to 49%. Of course, I would have quit at week 7 if I were playing that scheme. Like I said, I always seem to pick the wrong scheme, but that scheme, up over 50% or at 50% ROI or plus $10,000 practically. Either way, on my multiple scheme, just to recap, if we look at the red line here, might as well do it now, right? Go through it. So week 6 was my first bets out there, and I went 1-1. It was Houston. Win Houston, lose Las Vegas. That lost me a little bit of money. The next week I went with 2 games out there, Cincinnati and Las Vegas. They both won. That's where I jumped up to that 21-7-27 in week 6. And then it was kind of not a lot of bets. 1-1, New York Giants and San Francisco loss. The push to Miami might be a little controversial. Sometimes, you have these controversies between what covers.com says. Again, it was a 15-point game. I think Buffalo came back really, really late in that one, and could actually, if they kicked an extra point, could have covered, but they went for 2. Even though it ended in a 15-point game, and that's what covers.com listed it as. So that's what I used for my scores. So it ended up being a push. But if you did lose those 3, it would have been $3,000 off. Still a good amount. Didn't kill you since I'm up over $6,000. But the next week, anyways, moving on, it was a win in Miami, a loss to the Rams. And then I started betting some money. I put 8 bets out there, and I went 4-4. Baltimore and the Rams screwed me over, but Buffalo, Washington, KC won. So I was at 9-7 for the year, 8-5 in the games overall. And that's when I just had this big run, right, on this last week here. Put a lot of money out that week. If I follow the green dotted line out in week 11, that's the money you had to put out at the beginning of the week. So because I was at 21,181 and I put $12,000 out there, that brought me to 9,181. So that's the maximum I took out of my $20,000 bankroll. That's the amount I had left in my $20,000 bankroll after betting at the beginning of the week. So I only touched a little over half the bankroll for scalability or whatever you want to do it. But that's the way, I do $20,000. And of course, that 9 and 3 brought me way up to that final number, $26,362, starting at 20. So let me flip over just a quick, put this up on the screen. This is November 9th of this year, which is the first game of the NFL. Week 1 this year through November 22nd. So we know that's 11 weeks or 2.5 months, basically. Bitcoin, today it's 57,600. So 57.6 is the number. It started off at 46.1. So it gained $10,500 over that time period, that 11 weeks. 10,500 divided by the initial starting 46.1 ends up being a 22.7% return on investment. So I actually beat the ROI on either one of those. I didn't really, on the fixed scheme, I didn't know, I don't look back into what Bitcoin was in week 7. But again, Bitcoin last year this time, September 9th, 2020, so over a year ago, I think it was just a little over 10,000. So it's gone up 5-fold, right? Or almost 6-fold. I know during the year it went 6-fold. So, that's a whole year round. So it's producing all year round. I expect it to continue rising. So that's one of the reasons why I've lost a little bit of my flair for gambling, especially when you just put money in Bitcoin and watch it go up, 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 6x in the last year. About 22.7% in the last 2.5 months. Apple is another stock that I watch. Usually it performs pretty well and just an indicator of the stock market. I don't want to do the Dow Jones, just pretend I put my money in Apple. Started off at 154.07 on September 9th this year, and now it's at 161, a gain of $6.95. $6.95 divided by the 154 starting price is 4.5%, so not bad for a stock, but certainly not Bitcoin, not sports gambling, or at least NFL gambling for me. And gold did pretty well for gold, right? It started at $17.90 and change, and now it's $18.44 and change, so it went up $53 and change. 53 divided by $17.90 is 2.9%, almost 3%. Not bad for 2.5 months, but I always warn that gold, I think it's heading towards 1,000, right? So I don't want to put my money in gold. I have some silver, but not any more gold. So. And the Apple split last year. That was a little bit of a weird year. The stock split 4-1, but it's stabilized now. It's sitting around about $150, right? So Bitcoin's where the money at. I'm sure there's other stocks that does better, and I'm sure there's other cryptos that do better, but these are big brand names, right? So down at the bottom, my multiple. This is the 1K per game, $20,000 bankroll. My record was 18 and 10. I gave you a little math there, 18 times 909. That's what you profit when you win. $1,000 bet at minus 110 odds. And then if you lose the full $1,000. So I did that 10 times. That ends up being the plus 63, which, to do the math, is 31.8%, almost 32, but I just call it 31. What the heck? I'm not going to overstate anything. So this is probably my end of the, this is my end of the year, not probably, right? I'm going to continue to do some other stuff on my own, but yeah, take your money out. If you follow me along, take the money out, put it into Bitcoin, because I think that's gonna go north of 200K at some point in the next year. At least get maybe not 6x like it was this last year, but 2 or 3x can do pretty well. So again, I'm not producing anywhere near that in my sports betting, even with the NBA and the MLB. The other 2 games I do, but I tend to cut out at 25 to 30. Sometimes it ends up being 38% or something like that. But I've been capping it and getting out like I'm doing right now. So I'm not going to make more than 100% in a year. I'm not going to double my money. I'll probably it's anywhere between 75 to 100%, 95% or something. This one's 32, so another one might be 38 or might be 25, right? Depending on what you do. So. Again, over the course of a year, I think Bitcoin's going to outperform it, so it's not even worth my time to do the sports gambling. I'm just getting a little bored with it. So anyways, good luck. Thanks for listening this year, and I hope you follow some other people, or if you want to continue betting, you can always reach me, but they'll be paid picks, so I'm going to have to spend my time doing that. All right, free picks, 32%. Enjoyed it. We're coming up on the 10-minute mark here. I just let it go, and See you guys.